new channel where I talk about movies and much more. Please subscribe. Thank you. It's been a long time since the last time we talked about Illuminati here on the channel, which is crazy. It blows my mind that time is going so fast. Honest Media, a former employee of hers and a former boyfriend, believe it or not, dropped a video just an hour ago talking about Illuminati. Blair was sending cease and desist letters to anyone who dared talk about her. And just before we get into this video, I want to check out how my favorite YouTuber of all time, Illuminati, is doing. Her videos are doing absolutely horrible. The money you're putting into these videos to research, to do this and that, it doesn't justify the expense. This has not died down. People haven't forgotten. Now we can get into this video.
Howdy everyone, I'm Oz, in the flesh. No cartoon avatar this time. I'm making this because I'm giving an update to both my regular viewers and those who are here for something a bit more specific. I need to make everyone aware, for reasons that I hope this update will make clear. For my safety, I need to put a short and temporary pause on production of my video on Illuminati. I just need to put things on a lower burn and return to regular content for the time being, for many reasons. Some of them being the honest truth that I can't afford to continue at this rate, both fiscally and physically. Illuminati has taken this to a legal front, using the courts because of how poorly things went for her on the internet. Illuminati started a fight with a lawyer on Twitter, accused him of copying her style, which then led to other content creators and past collaborators speaking out about their past interactions with her, where she would then post a suicide note of one of her former employees for the world to see as an attempted own.
A lot of crazy stuff and a lot of things that I forgot about. And isn't it crazy how all of this started on Twitter, where it should have stayed on Twitter, especially getting into it with the lawyer, which is not the best idea. And then the whole bringing up Wonderstruck guy's suicide note in front of a million people, over a million people, is just despicable. I don't know how anyone could look at that and be like, you know what, Blair's a good person. Blair cares. It still kind of shocks me when I lure on Twitter and I see some Illuminati fan be like, yeah, you know, it's only men who are hating on her, and you know, it's only jealous people who will never be as successful as her. And it's like, have you been paying attention, or are you just slow? Are you, kind of stupid here? As a content creator, I can't imagine how much stress this guy must be under. I feel bad for him.
I've put a lot of things in my life on hold to produce this video, ending up with nearly 110 pages of a manuscript which details as much of what I can. And let me tell you something. Converting this monstrosity into a video with its accompanying 1,000 screenshots has been one hell of a monumental task for me, a one-person team, to embark on. I need to pump the brakes and not rush this out for the sake of being able to not stress about my next meal, or my next bill for that matter.
I don't want to say content creators have the hardest job in the entire planet, because let's just be realistic, that's not true. But the amount of stress a content creator, I'm speaking for myself, puts themselves through, you got to come up with video ideas, and that's stuff that you can control. Everyone gets a bad video every now and then. It's normal, it happens, and that's already stressful enough, and that's stuff that we can control. Just imagine being in a situation where you don't have control of the narrative and where things are so far out of reach, like this situation when you're being threatened with the lawsuit, with the cease and desist. You're like, am I gonna be able to afford Taco Bell tonight? Am I gonna be able to pay the water bill? On top of the pressure of you not uploading because of this, and whatever other factors come into it, this just proves us that Illuminati has always been a shitty person.
For full transparency, which will be explored more in my future video, Blair and I dated. We were a couple for a decent chunk of time. This puts me in an ungodly complicated situation of doing everything that I can to try and separate the relationship drama from the public drama, as in the process of dating her, there are a lot of things which I bore witness to.
Can't imagine spending 2 seconds with Blair. I mean, I don't want to get this video taken down. Why do you need to... Like, you could have gotten anyone else. Why get fucking Blair? Like, Blair's like a 1 out of 10 on her best day. Like, let's just be honest, guys. I'm not normally one to be like, yeah, you're a 5 out of 10, you're a 1 out of 10. But I think Blair deserves it, okay? Blair is a horrible, disgusting person, both inside and outside. And here's my advice. If you're as unpleasant, at least physically, as Blair was, my advice is, be a nice, kind person, because it's not all about looks. But when you're not the best looking, and on top of that, you're a shitty person, there's no good redeeming qualities about you at that point. It's like, maybe you could, be nice and humble, but no.
I need to pump the brakes and change directions so I won't be homeless come Christmas. Because that's when Blair set my home to foreclose, right before Christmas. And yes, Blair has the power to set the foreclosure sale. That I was mortified that if I spoke out against Blair or even dared to cross her, that she would retaliate with taking my home from me. When I did speak out, as many of you are aware, Blair sent me a cease and desist. A cease and desist, by the way, over a Twitter thread which she apologized for not only in her video, but as well as privately. I've lived the last 4 months of my life with the looming threat of Blair's retaliation. And truth being, from my understanding, she could have done this as early as June. From legal threats to trying to take my home, which wouldn't be surprising, considering Blair's alleged white-collar crimes I intend to expose with evidence within my video.
Now, as much as the situation is horrible and I feel bad for this person, the drama in me, the drama tea YouTuber and person inside of me just wants to see this video out. And to this day, 4 to 5 months after the first Illuminati video came out, no response, no apology, Twitter has been dead, when I think, in my humble opinion, if she would have come out and been like, you know what, that first video was trash, I regret it. I'm not gonna take it down, but I do want to take it back. I want to apologize to Wonder and Us Media and anyone else who I offended with my actions. Had she been more humble about all of this and not as aggressive and not being like, I'ma sue you, I'ma sue you, I'ma sue your mama for having you and causing me this trouble, I think her career would be back on track. I don't think going back to have 1 million views, but I think she would be doing way better than 15,000 views per video. A few years ago, Blair said that she could retire whenever she wanted to, and just by what everyone says, apparently she had that bougie lifestyle. She's going to blow through that money in no time. In a year, I could see an OF announcement. And to get this guy's perspective, just imagine going to bed every single night and being like, this could be the last night I sleep in my comfortable bed. If that was me, I could not sleep comfortably knowing, is this the last night I'm going to have my bed?
Now, let's talk about how Blair is even able to foreclose on me. What put her in a position of power beyond a landlord? A mortgagee, which in my eyes is something even worse. As I briefly stated previously, Blair and I dated. We started when I was 20 and she was 28. And currently, I'm 23.
Illuminati 445 in the building, guys. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
In the beginning, Blair walked me into several poor financial decisions. My naivety caused me to believe her reassurances that I could handle all of the financial obligations being dropped onto my shoulders by someone more experienced in life than I was. Why these obligations were placed onto me? At the time, Blair had bad credit, so all of the purchases, loans, everything was being placed in my name. This included the car that she purchased then revoked from Wonderstruck. I was on the loan as a co-signer only because of my credit at the time.
This is so fucking sad. Imagine being 28 years old, you have horrible credit, and you're dating this 20-year-old. Was it for love or was it to use them for credit? And I know it sounds crazy and I sound like, a crazy conspiracy theorist with a tinfoil hat on, but knowing what we know about her, would we really be surprised by that? This was obviously done with horrible intent, trying to ruin this guy's credit so he can never buy a house, he can never buy a car. When you're 28 and you've been successful and you have money and you're using this guy as a shield, how about we use your credit to buy a fucking Ferrari? Duh, I have horrible credit, so you take the hit.
The financial responsibilities that I incurred would stack up on me, building a mountain of monthly debt that would lead me into several financially tight months and eventually just breaking. This would lead me to asking Blair, my partner, for financial help for things such as my home, which she was living in. Help from my partner, who at any given time would be making up to 30 times my monthly income. This ledger also includes things such as a non-refundable design fee and land deposit on a multi-million-dollar custom home that she threatened to break up with me if I didn't agree to proceed on this with her. This ledger would creep into the range of $180,000, an insurmountable amount where I don't even understand how she got there. That number ballooned higher and higher, the number ever increasing, and I never questioned it out of guilt for needing help. Guilt from her telling everyone, from her friends to my friends, to her employees, to hell, even her Discord staff, about my finances, oftentimes unprompted. My own partner, the person who was supposed to be my other half, was actively putting me in a position where she was chipping away at my mental health. I was afraid to tell anyone what was happening because she had convinced me that I was a parasite.
He was clearly being manipulated by someone who knew exactly what you were doing. I mean, when you're 28, you know exactly what you're doing, especially when you're dating someone who's 20 years old. Like I said previously, any person who actually gives a fuck about you or cares about you is going to be honest with you. You ever wonder how she said, oh, I could retire early? Yeah, it's by using other people to get your shit and then putting them in debt. Meanwhile, you're having multi-million-dollar house and cars and shit. It's like, you know, it kind of makes sense. If I want to, I could retire this very second. Well, yeah, no shit. No shit, you're just stealing money from other people and putting them in massive debt when they're 20 years old.
Something to note, when you're around Blair, your world revolves around her. In my case, my home was hers, despite her name not being on it. I had no friends out in Colorado, a state that I moved to at the behest of Blair. Only Blair's friends were out here. All of my connections had to be approved by her. I wasn't allowed to be friends with people she didn't like, such as click in one topic, or even Wonder, once that bridge was burned and reduced to cinders.
This sounds very familiar to what the other guy said. When Blair had him move to, you know, whatever place, and then he was isolated from his family for his friends. She's been doing this. She's a crazy bitch, okay? She's a crazy manipulator who will do whatever it takes, and that is what makes her downfall so satisfying. It makes me drool knowing she will never have a YouTube career in her life again. I love this downfall. I'm here for it, and I'm glad she's struggling. But that's where we're gonna leave it at, guys. With that said, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. If you're new, subscribe, like, and share, because we're definitely gonna be talking about this more. And yeah, thank you for watching. Appreciate you. Bye.